everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so excited to have you here today. Before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. It's completely free to subscribe and I would love to have you as part of my crafty family here on YouTube. Now in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make some custom hats using Siser glitter puff. That's right, you heard me, puff and glitter. So cute, so fun, and we're gonna test out that on our HTVRONT auto hat press. Absolutely love this guy. I will link this down below for you. If you're looking for a hat press that you're not responsible for putting the pressure on your hats, this is the way to go. What I love about it is that it's so easy to use. It's literally plug and play and so simple, and it really feels like it's a good quality piece of equipment. Now I'm going to make 3 different hats with 3 different designs, and I'm going to show you how to make the designs over in Cricut Design Space, just really quickly, just to show you kind of what we're working with. Now I'm going to be fully honest with you, a couple of the designs did not work. They were far too detailed for a glitter type of HTV. One thing you need to think about when working with glitter is that you can't do super tiny, super detailed designs, but we did do a few that were a little bit smaller, like this Ohio on the back of this hat was much smaller. So you can do some things, but you just need to be a little careful about how big or how small your design is going to be. Plus, with puff, it does kind of expand a little, so you don't want to use anything with super, super thin lines that are really close together, because that will just make your design look a bit like a blob. Now, without further ado, let's get started. I can't wait to try some Siser glitter puff. This stuff looks amazing, but I also want to try it with my hat press because I think it's going to be a really true testament to how is this going to work. But also I want to try a couple of different designs and styles. So I want to show you what we have kind of pulled out to see how this puff is going to handle being pressed with a hat press. So I've got a couple little cat designs, but they're all kind of a different style. I have this one that has some pretty thin writing and some really small paw prints. Now, typically when you use puff HTV, you don't want to use really small designs. So I thought we should do it just to see what happens. Same with this one. I thought this one is great because we've got kind of a bigger circle, plus this paw that's a little more defined, but then we also have very small writing. So I'm excited to kind of see how that comes out. We also have this paw that has a lot more open area, a lot more open space, more defined areas of its design. This ribbon I thought was really cute and would be a great little design to put on any hat. Now, keep in mind, if you watched my hat video before, I made my designs way too big. So this time we're going to do much smaller designs so that they'll actually fit on the hats. But this one here I thought would be perfect test because we have some small lines here, but that won't really matter if those fill in too much because it's not going to change the integrity of the ribbon. And then we have this little heart here that I thought would be great. Now I'm going to do the state of Ohio on the front of the hat. And I think that one's going to work great with puff because it's a nice solid piece and you don't have a lot of details. But I also want to try this writing because it's going to be a little bit bigger than the cat mom. And we're going to put this one on the back of the hat, like above where the Siser hole is. And I can't wait to see how this one comes out because I think this one might work really well because we do have a bit more open space and it's just not quite as tight of a fit because I can make it a little bit bigger. Now, before I go to make any of this, I am going to click save and I'm going to save this as glitter puff hat trial. That way I know what I'm using these for and I'm going to click save. Now, these are all Design Space images, so if you want to use any of these, you can grab these all from Design Space. I just grabbed some images to use so that we could test this out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click Make, and you're going to see we have a bunch of mats because I want to try all of the different colors of glitter puff that I possibly can. So I've got quite a few mats here. Now, with this, I am going to need to make sure anything with wording is mirrored, and it will do that automatically when we choose our HTV related cut setting. Now also, before we really commit to cutting out any of our designs, we want to do a test cut to make sure that we know what cut setting is going to work since this is a new material to us. So the way I like to do cut settings is I can either make a whole new project for this or I can hide all of my designs by just clicking this little button right here that will hide all of my designs. That way I can just simply add a little shape, and I like to just use a star for this, and I just make my star about 1 inch because it doesn't need to be a very big cut.
Then all we're simply going to do is click make. It'll bring up our star onto our mat. Now for this, I like to move my test cuts all the way down to the bottom. It's a little easier to check how they cut without having to unload the mat a bunch. It's just easier for me. And then I can just use the same piece that I'm using here to cut our design. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start this with what Siser has suggested, which is the glitter mesh vinyl setting. So let's see if we can get our machine to connect and check that out. Now what you're going to do to find the setting that you're looking for is click Browse All Materials. Now I can actually go look at my material settings to see what pressure it's at, which is super helpful to know. So I'm going to click way down at the bottom of my screen where it says material settings. And remember I said that this was like glitter mesh. So I'm going to go down. It's all organized alphabetically. So I'm going to try to find the one that's glitter mesh. Here it is. Glitter mesh iron-on is what they suggest. So that is a pressure of 230 and it's cut with your fine point blade. So we're going to try that one first. So if you want to find it, simply click Browse All Materials and you're just going to type in glitter. If I could spell, I'd be doing amazing. And it's going to bring up anything that's glitter. And we want to try the glitter mesh iron-on and click done. Now we can go ahead and cut this over on our Cricut. Now you'll see that it says make sure mirror is turned on. It automatically will turn that on for you when you select a setting that is an iron-on setting. So let's go ahead and try a test cut, see how it does, and then we can cut out our materials.
The cut setting that works best with my machine and is recommended from Siser is the glitter mesh iron-on, and I did do that test cut that you saw. So we're going to do 5 different colors. Now you want to make sure with this HTV that you're going to put this color side down. You'll notice that all of them, I've got all the colors here are all white on the back. So you want to make sure that it is the glittery colored side down. I'm using my standard grit mat. This works great with the glitter kind. This does not work so good with their regular puff. Their regular puff's carrier sheet's a little bit different, but the standard grit mat works great. So I'm going to cut all of these out and then I'll show you them weeding, and then we're going to press them to some hats because I've got a bunch of hats here, a couple different styles. So we're going to try those out with the HTVRONT Auto Hat Press. Here's one thing that I learned while weeding this. I don't think I could do a really detailed design with this product regardless. This is about as small as I would say you could go. I did weed this one, but like the letters didn't stick. And then this one is just nearly impossible to weed. Glitter, anything really doesn't always lend itself to a smaller design. So we'll just work with these ones and that's totally fine. We learned our lesson and that's what this is about. So let me go get our hat press, which is from HTVRONT, which I'll link down below if you want to grab one. It's so fabulous. We're going to test these out with that press. Now I wanted to give you this kind of up and down view since the other video I did a straight on view, but I will tilt this so that you can see. I'm going to set the time and temp. Now this does have suction cups on the bottom, which is so nice. I don't know if you can see those, but they are great. They hold this in place. So I'm going to have this set like this so that you can see what I'm doing here because I think that's really important. So I'm going to turn it on first and I'm going to use this little on button. And then what I want to do is I want to set my time and my temperature. So I'll set my temperature first, which is this one right here. And I want to set my temperature for 310, which is perfect. It's already set to that. So if I look at that, that's 310. And then I want to set my time, and you want to do this for about 10 to 15 seconds. So I'm going to add a little bit of time, and I'm going to go like that and just add that. Now this is going to heat up. It heats up really quickly, and the part that heats up is actually this piece right here. This doesn't get hot at all, but this upper plate gets hot. So I'm going to go ahead and move the upper plate back because we want to load on our hat. So let's go ahead and we'll do the little ribbon first since that one's pretty small. And I think we're going to just do that one on this black hat. This is like a mesh back hat, which is great. So what I do is I want to make sure I take out any cardboard that might be in the hat. And let me zoom you out, guys, just a little bit so you can see a little bit more. Now, what I want to do, there is a stretcher on the back of this. If you want to see this in more action, you can see that in the first video. But what I do is I take this and I open it up completely. I want to take the hat and I want to place it over the plate here, but I also like to make sure that this sweatband is out of the way. So I like to place that sweatband over the front of the plate. Then I do need to figure out where I want to put my little ribbon, and I think I want to put it towards the side. So I'm going to turn my hat just a little bit so that like the side can get access to the plate. You want to make sure whatever you're putting on is over the plate. Then you want to take this little hat stretcher guy, right? And you're going to place that inside your hat, and you're just going to get that so that it's behind your like sizing piece, which with this one, I'm clearly struggling a little bit with this. I'm trying not to touch the hot part, and also keeping this hat a little bit more. I might need to close the size piece, which is possible. Sometimes you might need to close this. I didn't have to do that last time, but I had a different hat style. So I'm going to close that and just, now I can stretch my hat better. Okay. Now you're going to see that I'm going to stretch this as far as it's going to allow me to stretch it. And that's going to allow this piece to sit a little more flush. Now you may need to move this around a little bit just so that you can make sure that it's sitting on the plate. It's going to get a good adhesion and it's going to get a good area. Now this hat is a little more structured, so like this center piece here is going to have a little bit more bubble to it, but I'm just going to kind of make sure that's as well as I can get it, and then it's going to be heated up here in just a second. Now with, you just heard it, with the puff, they want you to heat it for about 2 to 3 seconds and then allow it to cool. Then peel the carrier sheet. Then you're going to put the carrier sheet back on and you're going to repress that for 10 to 15 seconds. So I'm going to pull the heat plate up, and then I'm going to press, there's a little button on the front. It's an R. I don't want to tilt this back while it's hot, but I'm going to press that and you're going to see, you might hear it, but you'll see the plate kind of go down, which it's actually raising the hat up. So let me go ahead and press that. It's going to raise our hat up. It's going to press our hat, but I don't want to press it for very long. So I'm just going to hit that R and bring it back down. And then I'm going to pull the plate away. Now I want to just kind of make sure this got some warmth on it. It did. I'm going to let this fully cool before we peel it off. Now you can always use little tricks and tips to cool these down. Sometimes like a little cold bottle of water can cool it down faster. You can use little like rocks, marble, all sorts of things to cool this down faster, but I'm just going to let this cool naturally. Now that this is cool, I'm going to go ahead and carefully peel the carrier sheet, which is the plastic. Now you want to pop that off, and then it says that you want to press this again with the carrier sheet for that full 10 to 15 seconds. So I'm going to place the carrier sheet back on top. Now I'm going to go ahead and place this back over my design, and I'm going to hit the R button. It's going to raise my hat up again, and it's going to press. Once it's done, beeps, and it lowers your hat. I'm going to go ahead and pull this back to allow this to cool. Now I can definitely see that it did puff some, but it does say that it's a cool peel. So again, I think that we'll wait for our carrier sheet to cool before we peel it off. I'm letting it cool for anywhere between about 1 minute to 2 minutes. It doesn't take that long. It's a pretty small piece. And then we'll try another hat with this with a different design. Now that this is cool, again, we can go ahead and peel this off. And like I said, it definitely puffed. I can see that. It's soft. It's very pretty. But we'll go ahead and show you what everything looks like when we're done. Now I want to do another hat, so I'm going to pull the hat off. I'm going to lift up the hat stretcher and we'll get a different hat. Now this one I want to do the Ohio hat. And for this one, I think we'll do that on this black kind of distressed hat, which I think is so cute. It's a different material. It's a little bit softer. Now this one, again, we'll make sure that sweatband is out of the way, and we're going to press on the front and the back of this one because that was something I had a few questions on when I made my last video was, well, can I press anything on the back? And we're going to find out if we in fact can. So now that I've got this stretched across, I just need to decide where I want my little Ohio, because we're going to make this little Ohio on the front. Now, I don't want to put this in the center. I kind of want to do it on the side like the other one. And the reason is there's a seam right here, and I don't want to go over that seam with puff because that doesn't usually lend itself to working really well. The seam can really cause issues with the puff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this where I want it. I think that looks pretty good. Now again, I'm just going to lift this up, press the R button, and we'll let it press for just a couple of seconds. Now this is going to press, just like I said, for 2-3 seconds. Hit the R button and that will release your hat. We'll again pull this back to allow this to cool off. We'll cool it and then we will peel and repress. Now that it's cool, we'll go ahead and carefully peel off the carrier sheet, and then we'll put the carrier sheet again right back on. You'll make sure you cover all the vinyl that protects your press and the vinyl. Go ahead and lift back up the heat plate, hit that little R button, and it'll raise our hat up again and press it. Once it's done, it automatically lowers it, which I think is so nice, because if you get busy and doing something else, yeah, the heat's there, but it's not really going to touch your design too much. So you should be okay as far as allowing it to just sit for a moment or two before you pull the plate back. I love how easy this is to use, and like this part doesn't get hot. It's warm from being pressed, but it's not hot. Nothing on here, whoops, except I hit the button, my bad. Nothing on here is hot except this plate right here. This part itself is not hot, where the like little caution thing is. The handle's not hot. Nothing else is hot, just like right here's a little warm, but then the plate is where it gets really hot. I'll let this cool, peel this off, and then I'm gonna do the back, and then we'll do the other two designs real quick just so we can get those done. And I'll show you what everything looks like. Now that this is fully cool, I'll go ahead and peel the carrier sheet, maybe, there we go. Peel that carrier sheet off, and that definitely got a little bit of a puff too as well. I think that's really cute. So I'll go ahead and take this. Now what we're doing with this hat, remember I said we're gonna press one on the back. We're gonna see if we can do that here. So I wanna press something right here on the back. So I'm gonna see if I can get this to lay onto the press so that we can use the back of our hat as well. And honestly, it looks like we definitely can. So I'm intrigued. Now, I don't think I'm getting as good of a stretch as far as like tightness of this, but I do think that I can make this work. Now, it isn't straight, so I'm going to kind of move this so I can just see where we're straight, and then I'm just going to kind of pull that back again. Now we're going to put the word Ohio, and for this one I am going to try putting it over the seam because I do think we need to give that a shot just to see what happens. Now that's definitely not even, so I want to make sure that it's even, or at least as even as I think I can get it, which that's pretty good. So I think that'll work. Now what I'm going to do again, same thing, we're not changing anything. Lift that, press this down. Again, press for just a few seconds. I'm going to go just slightly longer than normal just to see kind of what happens. And then I'm going to go ahead, pull this back. We're going to let this cool, and then we'll peel it off and repress. All right, we are cool, so we'll go ahead and carefully peel. It looks like everything's stuck really well, which is good. My concern is it going to puff real well over that seam? It gets a little puff on the first press, but let's see how it does with our second. So again, lay the carrier sheet back down to protect everything. Hit the R, and I'm gonna let it go ahead and press for that 15 seconds. If I didn't mention, this is like a medium pressure type of situation. This is going to give us about a medium pressure, so I'm not too concerned about pressure-wise on these, but it should do just fine. Now that it's done, again, beeps, and we can pull this back. That definitely puffed. I can see the puff under the carrier sheet. Now, I want to be a rebel, and I just want to see what happens if I peel this hot. I just want to see if, like, it'll puff differently. Or if it comes up. It doesn't come up, it is puffed. But I'm gonna see what happens if we do it that way. I'm just curious. If you don't try it, you'll never know. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna do the other hat really quick. I'm probably gonna skip this one just because like nothing came out of it. Like it just didn't weed real well. But I am gonna do this claw hat, and I wanna do this on a foam hat. So let me press that one next, and then I'll show you what all of our hats look like.
Here are all the hats finished. Now, I do think that this pink one definitely puffed better than the others because there's no seams in the way, and not having seams in the way can give you a much better press. Now, you can always put a little towel or something under your hats to get more pressure and a more even press, just to get those seams out of the way, but I do think they all puffed pretty well. This one here, you can see those little thin lines definitely filled in a little bit, but I still think it's really cute. This press is fantastic. It's so easy to use. It's really just plug and play. Now I'm going to link it down below for you, and there is currently a coupon code. I don't know how long it's going to last, but that's going to save you some money when you order the HTVRONT hat press. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer those for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.